Hello guys, welcome back to the Crew Motorfest this time. This is a quick video just about my thoughts about the new season. I have streamed yesterday for 12-13 hours I think on Twitch. And after I recorded this video we probably go again with finishing some of the playlist stuff and Grand Race obviously. Grinding back to our legend rank. We are here on the main stage year 2, which I think is over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that is over. 12 months. So whenever they add another one of these boxes, it will be main stage legacy year 3. I'm assuming they will make a new line here for the next episode. Whenever it comes in, usually second or third week in the season, so probably in 2 or 3 weeks you will see one of these boxes appear. And they are still going 3 months back, right? So if you look at this, the last one that they posted, there are some sunglasses in there, and then you have the TBR Griffith Peppermint Edition, which I think is the November main stage from last year. It's usually, there's 3 months in between usually for this thing. So that's how you can get all these main stage vehicles from year 2 and year 1, they are still available. And year 3, which started in November, that will come next time they post. Next time they post a box, it will be the November box, right? Then we go to the custom mode. Seeing they added the NASCAR racing. That means although they don't call it, again, Ivory Tower being confusing again. Might have something to do with licensing of the brand name, I don't know, but the cars themselves they call NASCAR, but the vehicle category they call Cup cars. To make it a bit confusing, I guess, but the fact is they added the Cup cars. That means that in your custom mode boards, in which you might have 100% in some of these custom boards, you have to go again. You have to go again in the Electric Odyssey playlist, or in the Drift playlist, or in the Police Chase, or even in the Porsche. You have to go again to get this thing back to 100% if you want to do the whole custom board, because they added a discipline, which means that anything which goes on the road, obviously not air, water, or off-road, but anything that goes on the asphalt, yeah, those things they have added the Cup car vehicle category, which means you have to do all of these events with a Cup car to get it back to 100%. So that's for the custom mode. Then we have the Rivals board. There is a new Rivals board. In the new playlist is a Rivals board, and there is also a car in there, for those who haven't figured that one out yet. It's not just the Proto Cup car, which is the playlist reward for itself, but also in the Rivals board there is a car in there. I don't know why it says a yellow dot, because as you can see it gives me a yellow dot like something is happening there, or I need to collect something, which I did. I collected everything. If we go in there, there you can see green check, green check, green check, green check, green check, green check, all green checked. So I've completed it all. I'm not sure why we have a green dot. We have collected our tickets, our helmet, some more prestige tickets, the suit, some NASCAR suit, and then the NASCAR Next Gen Chevrolet Camaro Hendrix number 5, and also a muscle enhancer kit, sound kit, and a title. So this is a package of a car, an engine sound, and a title, a yellow gold title. And this is, for instance, one of the cars that you can get. You can get, without spending any money of some sort, you can get 5 vehicles. You can get this number 5 Chevy Cup car, and then you can get the Proto Henson machine, which is the playlist reward. And then you can get one of each of the stock Cup cars, being a Chevrolet Silhouette, Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, a Ford Silhouette from the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, and a Toyota Camry Silhouette as well. So those 3 you can buy. And then if you want the actual NASCAR liveries, yeah, you're gonna have to spend some money. Either literally money out of your pocket by buying crew credits in the store, or using the crew credits you have in your game, but at some point or another you also probably spend money on that to get those. So yeah, I'm not sure what that yellow dot is doing in here. It wants me to chase the next target. I have beaten them all. As you can see, it says completed. I don't know why. There are some things in the menu which are very confusing. Playlist itself. This is number 30, if I'm not mistaken, if I counted it correctly. This is the 30th playlist in the 3 years that they have added. Personally, one of the most boring that they have added over time. It is 8 laps around, 10 laps around, 12 laps around, very often around the oval, doing circles and circles and circles. The voiceover, the Mr. Hansen guy, annoying as hell. It gets on your nerves after 2 races already. There are 10 races in this event. He's very annoying. He's very annoying, that voiceover. That whole playlist is dramatized. Bunch of drama from the commentators, from the Hansen guy, which is supposed to be your he's your team leader. He's constantly shouting in your ears. Typical American drama, I guess, but they always make a big drama over the simplest thing. You know, we like, you're almost out of fuel, blah, blah, blah. Drama at all, but you still have 2.7 liters or whatever, or 2.7 laps. You still have fuel for 2.7 laps, and he's shouting like the world is gonna disappear or something, while you can still do at least a lap and a half before you need to pit. Complete drama. The commentators come over it with some more drama voices. It's yeah. The physics of the cars, they're also dramatized, I find. I don't know. We messed around a bit. We have some decent settings now. Personally, for me, it works. That's always debatable, of course. Do you have good settings? Yeah. For some people it works, for other people it doesn't. But even that is like, you touch the water a little bit, or you touch another car, and you get some dramatic effect that your car starts flying. Triple, quadruple, barrel roll. We were not even going that fast, and I'm thinking like, why does it need to be so dramatic? I get it, like, you know, if there's a crash in NASCAR doing ovals at a high speed, that it's going to be mayhem. If there is a crash, I understand, but they try to replicate that by making it dramatic, I think. But you hit a guy at 50 miles an hour and things are gonna go completely wide. It gives you a feeling like you hit him at 200 miles an hour while you were over doing 50. This car starts flipping over, quadruple, and lands on its 4 wheels, and then you look around the car and you basically you have no damage at all. So if it's so dramatized, then that car should be a wreck, which it isn't. The handling physics, it's hard to describe. The best way I could say it's something between drift car and a demolition royale. That's how it feels. It feels like a seatbelt body chassis which never ever wants to turn in properly, sort of similar like the demolition royales do. And then if you go a bit too early on the power coming out of a corner, then it goes sideways, and then it suddenly becomes a drift car. So it's somewhere in the middle there. I don't know. I find it very weird how these cars handle. So yeah, long story short, I'm not a fan of this playlist. I already knew that before it came in, but I didn't know it was going to be this bad. For me, this is the worst playlist out of the 30. Simple, easy. Then I'd rather jump around in donks and lowriders with the music notes. That's even more fun than this thing doing circles, 12 rounds or 12 laps. It's boring. But we're completionists, so we did it. We have the green check marks. We'll never touch this thing again, ever. Side activities. There are a bunch of bullseyes, slaloms, things like that. They're all on that new island, the Kawawa, whatever it's called, that thing in the middle there. We'll have a look in a second, but they're all over there. So, and I think there's 1 or 2 which are in the harbor above Honolulu, because that's where you start. You start your career in some old Chevrolet Impala Cup car, and you first have to do a few laps to learn the ropes before you actually go to the stadium and the island. So first 2 races are taking place in that area there, and that's why they're also they added two, I think there were 2 slaloms, which are over there. All the rest of them are on the island. And then I think 3 pictures. Can we view that? Probably somewhere in your gallery, you can probably view it. One, you need to take a picture, a car at speed. That usually means at least 200 miles an hour. Or at least 100 miles an hour, something like that. That means, I think it was high speed that you needed. It's one of those requirements, high speed and grandstand you need it, and you need it to be on the speedway. So that's this one over here, the second one. The first one, you just need to take a picture in front of the pits, also on that speedway, on that island, the oval basically, that's what it is. And then the last one is also on that island, somewhere in the middle. You will see some blue and white stripe things. You can go down there, there's a bit of a tunnel, you need to drive down and then take a picture of that. We'll have a look in a second to the picture. The challenge is that probably what I will do next. After this video I will probably start the stream and we will probably go over this and then the rest of the night grand race more than likely. So that's also part of this playlist. And then we have that rivals board. It's not so that you have to race them or beat them or whatever. No, this is more a checklist thing that you have to do. You start driving and you need to empty your nitro from start to finish completely. Completely empty the nitro bar once or twice. You need to reach 250 kilometers an hour for 10 seconds. You need to hit some targets. You need to do some precision. Those kind of things. We have done it with the bikes or with the water bike back in the day. All those things where you need to hit. At some point it's Halloween. We needed to hit pumpkins. Those kind of events. That's what this is. Some sort of checklist events. You go over it. That could be in a NASCAR Cup car, but it could also be like here we have Gymkhana Rally Star, where I think you have to use a Peugeot. Then we have a NASCAR Street Trial. Then there is a drift trial where you can use whatever drift car. And then, so yeah, there you need to do some drifts. You need to do a few donuts. You need to keep a drift going for 50 meters at once, sort of a long corner, let's say. Pretty easy, these things. So yeah, you go to these, just like with every rivals board, you go to the small things first, then you get to the medium-sized one, you beat those 2, and then you can get to the big one. And the big one is, turns out to be the competitor of your team boss, Mr. Henson. This is Sinclair, which is from the opposite team, and then you win his car or something like that. He puts up a car if you beat his record, which of course you do, because you know, otherwise if you can't beat the record then the community is crying again. We saw that in the summit where they needed to beat the depths and 95% of the community couldn't beat the depth times. So obviously they put it in such a way that you can beat it very easily. And then you can get the Chevy number 5, one of those liveries with a silhouette. So yeah, that's the playlist, and then of course it also has a custom board, but yeah, good luck with that, eh? If you're interested in that, doing 12 laps on an oval with a monster truck or a motocross, you're probably gonna be driving for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, be my guest, eh? Because all of these events that you did in that playlist, as I said earlier, they were pretty boring, and then the custom boards, you need to do them with every single of these disciplines, including demolition, motocross, monster truck, pretty slow vehicles. 12 laps. Even with the cup car, which would do 200 miles an hour, some of these events were 8, 9, 10 minutes. You can already imagine with a monster truck or a motocross, which does like 80 miles an hour, how long that's going to take you. Unless they made them shorter, but it would surprise me. Would surprise me that they made any changes specifically for the custom board. So yeah, be my guest. I'm not gonna bother you with that. I never, as you can see, I never bother with any of these. There are a few which I have completely completed, like the off-road one, and then a few others. That's that when it comes to playlists. There are also some other changes that I've noticed. The Lamborghini playlist. As you can see, it is no, that second thing here is no green anymore. And that is because there are 2. There it is, a slalom over here, and I thought there was another one. Anyway, I'm not sure what's happened there. Were people cheating there or something? Did they reset the leaderboards? The fact is, you have to redo that slalom in the Lamborghini playlist to get your completion of that playlist again. And the same goes for the Electric Odyssey. I think there are 2 escapes there that you need to do. It looks to me that they cleared out the leaderboard. Some of the bug abusers or glitch abusers or cheaters were a bit too prevalent in those 2, I guess, and they deleted the score in those things or something like that. Or there is some other bug going on because there is something else going on. We'll come to that in a second. They've done it again. There was another one though. Yeah, the Hoonigan as well. So you have Lamborghini playlist, Hoonigan playlist, and the Electric Odyssey. Those 3 playlists. Take a peek on those. Side activities. There are 1 or 2 slaloms or escapes which you have to do again because they reset the leaderboard and they're taking away your completion check, let's say. Probably some bug thing again, would not surprise me. So now we have vehicles. It's all very weird how they made it. The vehicle category is called Cup Car, and then you have these vehicles here. The brand of the vehicles is NASCAR. Although you buy a Toyota and a Chevrolet and a Ford Silhouette, because they're not even cars, they're like the silhouette of that car, right? So what can you get? The Proto Hansen Custom. That thing drives very bad, by the way. That you can get by completing the 10 events in the playlist. This is the playlist reward, basically. And then this one over here, the number 5, that is the one, if you beat the rivals board in the playlist, then you can win this one. This is like, yeah, Hendrick number 5, I'm assuming that's one of the drivers in NASCAR. I'm not familiar with the NASCAR drivers. So that is that one. And then here we have the Mustang Dark Horse, which you can buy in the store. We have the Chevrolet Camaro, which you can buy in the store, and we have the Toyota Camry, which you can buy in the store. So you can buy these 3 in the store. This one you can win in the playlist rivals, and then the Proto you can win in the playlist itself by doing the events. So there are 2 cars in the playlist and then 3 in the shop. So that's 5 vehicles that you can get. That's it. Although they added so-called 18 vehicles for this month. The other 12 are the Silhouette liveries, which you can get in the shop, but yeah, be my guest. As I said, 168,000 crew credits. That is $16.80. 16 euros and 80 cents. For what? For the same cars, Toyota Camry 1, 2, 3, 4. Ford Mustang 1, 2, 3, and a Chevy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Chevys, 3 Fords, and 4 Toyotas. 12 in total. Are they different cars? Do they handle differently? Nope. They are the same as the stock car in the shop. They just have the Hendrick number 9, the Hendrick 24, the RCR, the Trackhouse. Those are teams. So these are teams and liveries from, if you were in Formula 1, that would be Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Haas, whatever. That's what this is. These are the team liveries specifically. There we go. You have a Trackhouse number 1 and you have Trackhouse number 88. So Trackhouse has 2 cars, I'm assuming. So, and that's how that goes. Hendricks 24 and Hendricks number 9. And then you have Hendrick number 5. That's the one you win in the playlist. Well, if you spend $17 on this shit, I'm sorry, but exaggerated here. Ivory Tower, $17. Well, this is not Ivory Tower. Anything with crew credits and money is Ubisoft. It's sort of the same with the season pass from the Crew 1 back in the day. Ivory Tower was really not happy with that price, but that was a Ubisoft thing. Anything involved pricing, real money, it's Ubisoft. Everything development is Ivory Tower. Never blame the wrong persons. In this case, it's Ubisoft, which are greedy and asking $17 for liveries. If you do spend that money, then you can get the NASCAR hoodie for free. You can also watch some streamers for an hour or 2, and then you can also win some things, including the hoodie, for drops on Twitch. Then I'm talking about, yeah, whoever is partner with those guys. Tommy from Walla in Europe, USA, Rhino the Raccoon, I think they have drops. Be my guest if you want the NASCAR hoodie. I don't care for the hoodie, I don't care for the silhouette liveries either. I am not, although I have 200,000 crew credits, I'm not spending 170 of those on these things. Hopefully I can use my crew credits for something better, for actual content, because it's a whole hype thing that they do here with this NASCAR, but down the bottom of it all, it is just a playlist like you get every 2 other months. But they made it a bit more hyped to make it look a bit better or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. And that all takes place more or less here in Kahu'olawa. Olawe, Kawa-Olawe, whatever. Which is sort of divided this new island into 2 pieces. Over here you have the speedway where everything is happening. Most of the playlist is happening here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 events of that playlist or so. 4 or 5 are happening here. A couple outside here or there, which sort of goes in the speedway and then back out and back in. That's sort of where that takes place. And then 1 or 2 in the harbor above Honolulu, which is also connected. You can go in a tunnel here somewhere. You drive through the tunnel and then you arrive here, and that will take you to over there. And then you can drive, yeah, they're also done something with the map which I haven't figured out yet, but so you can get through that tunnel here, you can get to the middle, you can see the road here on the map, but if you zoom in you can see it's actually a tunnel, it will disappear. You come out of here and then you can go towards Diamond Head. That's how you get to the Oahu map. And then there are also over there on the left on the harbor, there are 2 of the events from the playlist as well. And then you sort of have a normal bridge over here going to the right that will connect you with Maui, sort of. And that's that. Then we also have Molokai and Lanai. Those are the sandbox islands. That's where you can go play around with the event lab thing. I mean, the TrackForce editor, which is basically a copy from Event Lab from Forza. I played 13 hours yesterday in a stream. I did not even touch that. I don't also want to touch it. It's like, what can you do with those TrackForce editor? Well, that's pretty much what you can see here. The devs have put some things up here, which more or less tells you what you can do there. You go in that track editor, you have some sort of motorsport normal events, let's say. Well, let's say the circle here or the things. Those are like normal roads, motorsport roads. And then you have some crazy shit with loops and magnetized roads, and that there are also a few examples of here that you can drive over to give you an idea what you can build in that TrackForce editor. These are the normal loops, no problem. And over here you have the magnetized things where you can drive upside down without falling off. You just get magnetized in the road. This is some, yeah, again, copy from Forza. Hot Wheels. Gives me a Hot Wheels feeling. Forza Horizon 3 had a Hot Wheels update. Forza Horizon 5 had a Hot Wheels update. They copied that and then they pushed it into something like Event Lab from Forza. I'm not a Forza boy, but just to compare, for those who might be more familiar with Forza, that's what it is. That's what the TrackForce editor is. It's more or less you can play around with some modules and create your own tracks, and but not just anywhere. No, they gave you 2 sandbox islands here. That's why there's nothing on this island here. You have to build it yourself. Now the area it's that whole square here. It's pretty big, because the models, if you zoom in, the models are only like a few inches here. That's one model, and then you can build a few. I think in every area you can build 8, and then you sort of go, let's say, to the next square, and then you can build 8 again, something like that. And that way you can make your own track. Yeah, some kids might love that and spend hours on that. Other people will check it out. They might build 2 or 3 tracks and then never touch that thing again. It's sort of like the track editor in the Crew 2. Some people spent hours in that thing. Other people did 5 or 10 tracks, maybe for a video or whatever, and then never touch it again. This is probably going to be something similar. More worrying though is that we already see what that means. That means that the devs can get a bit more lazy, and if we go into a summit, you see the first example of this. The track of the week goes in the summit. The track of the week from that track editor goes into the summit. That means if some people are building some crazy shit there with magnetized loopings and whatnot, at some point or another we're gonna see that in the summit. The summit has not changed one single bit. The first event are again loaned vehicles with depth settings. Stop doing it, Ivory Tower. For the sake of us all, stop doing it. We have 800 vehicles, we want our own settings. We don't want pro settings locked. Every bar is in the middle. We have no camber, we have no anti-roll bars. The brake balance is wrong. These cars do not steer, they don't brake. They are horrendous to drive. Stop doing it. Give us our own cars and settings. If you want to restrict it to whatever, I don't care. You need to use a Volkswagen Golf, fine. But let us use our own Volkswagen Golf with our settings. Stop doing this bullshit here with these things that do not steer and brake and whatnot. I'm so sick of it. Other than that, I don't know if did they do anything about these glitch abusers and lag switchers and people switching vehicles. I have no idea. Here, for instance, we have a slalom with a cup car. We have to use a cup car. So let's have a look. Let's do all. Let's do the top. Might be that they fixed the bug because I see people are actually using a cup car. Last week that was still, you know, although we were restricted to a certain vehicle, people were ignoring that, using some bug or glitch to switch to another car, and they were using dragsters and Alpha GPs in slalom and things like that. Dragsters in speed reps, things like that. So it seems they might have fixed it for season 9. Bullseye is more than likely going to be a plane because you start on the road and then you switch to the air for the rest of the part. So most people, you will find a plane over here. And some of the people are doing that with a jet. That's fine, you can select the jet. There's no restrictions on this one, so this is all fine. So yeah, this is already, this was a pretty normal track, let's say. But you can imagine if the track of the week is going to come into the summit as one of these skill things, yeah, then you're going to see some crazy shit there. And then here you can use any cup car. Here you have to use a Mustang Dark Horse, and here you have to use a Chevrolet. Also something very weird is that these cup cars, the ones you can buy in the shop, they are about $500,000. But the Ford and the Chevrolet together, which would normally be about $1 million, they are available in a bundle for 700,000, those two. Which I'm assuming has to do with the fact that you have to use these two. But the Toyota is not. It's not in the bundle, so that one you have to buy separately for full price of $500,000. No idea why they did not put these 3 vehicles in the bundle, but yeah, it is what it is. Now that also means that there are some special selection in Grand Race going, where you have to use some older vehicles by the looks of it. Talking about the rest of the summit, yeah, you can win the Chevrolet Impala Sports Sedan, which is one of the racing cars which has been improved. It has been buffed, pretty viable. It was already viable to begin with, but now it's pretty viable. They pretty much nerfed the so-called metas, but it's all taking it with a pinch of salt. They gave, for instance, the Gordon Murray in racing a little bit less acceleration, but other than the fact that the front tires are smoking even more than before, I don't see much difference with it other than the acceleration. But it never accelerated very well if you drive it in automatic anyway. I never found that car a meta to begin with. They did the same with the Peugeot. The Peugeot is now a bit more wild. They changed the suspension a bit. The suspension is a bit more looser, which actually makes it, in my opinion, behave better as a rally car than before. Before it was a bit too stiff. It still has the power to pull you out of corners. So some people thought, oh, the Peugeot is over. I'm sorry, I do not agree with that. The Peugeot is still strong as hell. It's just a bit more loose. It can snap on you. It sort of has some, let's say, some Agera behavior now. That it can snap on you. You have to be careful or you lose the back end, but that makes it easier to get through corners. You can actually throw it in corners if you can counter steer in time and hold it. I find it pretty good. I find it better to drive the Peugeot now than before, actually. I hardly ever use it before. Now I might use it a bit more because it's more of a rally car. Might be a bit slower, not top speed wise, because they actually gave it more top speed. So same with the Agera. They stiffened up the rear a bit. So it's not so loose anymore, it handles better, but it's not so fast anymore. So they also messed around with that a bit. And then in Street Tier 1, they make the Porsche 2.7, the so-called meta car, lose a bit of speed, which it had going for it was the top speed, which was sort of why it was meta. They have reduced that, so to bring it more with the pack. So instead of 330, it's now probably doing 325, which can do also the BMW E30, the Volkswagen Golf, the Renault Megane. They're all doing that same thing. So they keep up with the Porsche now. So that also means that, and at the same time, the Mazda RX-7 and MX-5 have been buffed severely, especially the MX-5. The MX-5 could well be the new meta for the new season in Street 01. So give that a go, put some tuning on it and check it out. It's definitely up there as a viable vehicle to drive. And the 3 RX-7s as well. 10th anniversary, Outline Edition and Sakura Edition. All 3 of them pretty good. So you will see some more of those cars show up in Grand Race. Other than that, some Crew 2 rewards again in week 2. In week 3 also some Crew 2 rewards again. As always, we have something new usually in the beginning, then in the mid session of the month, nothing. That's all Crew 2 stuff. And then at the end, there's usually a car to win. In this case, it is that Chevrolet Impala Cup car from Henson, which you have been driving in the first 2 missions of the playlist. That thing we can win at the end of the month in the summit if you're in the top 15,000 platinum reward. Now, that being said, the summit ends on April's Fool Day, so who knows? This might be a death joke, and that you might actually get the car even if you're in bronze. But we'll see. Always take that in consideration if you see something that ends on April's Fool Day. But you're probably not that bright to think about that, so it's probably you need platinum to get the car at the end of the month. So that's that. So yeah, all in all, to put it short, I'm not a fan of that whole playlist. Summit, unfortunately, is the same bullshit. Loaned vehicles. They said they were going to change it, or they were going to look into it at least. For season 9, they have not changed anything. The first 3 events are still loaned vehicles with pro settings locked. Every single bar of that car in the middle. 0-0, so you have no camber, you have no anti-roll bars, they are way too loose, suspension is way too soft, brake balance is in the middle, usually wrong, usually you need a bit more to the front or to the rear to get proper braking. So yeah, the car is completely off as always, hopeless. Hopefully one day or another they will get it. The summit should be a competition between players. Not even between teams. It should be solo. It should be a solo event. It should be a time attack. There should not be any AI in there so that the circumstances are the same for every player. Now some player has 3 AI cars blocking him in the first corner, and because they went off their rail or something, which they're programmed to go over, and then another player has that same corner as only 1 AI car because the other 2 took off, slipstreaming each other, rubber banding each other to death or whatever. That kind of thing. Get the AI out of there. It should be about time from start to finish, point A to point B. You set the time, somebody else in the community do the same, and you compare those in a leaderboard. That's it. People should be driving their own cars with their own settings. If you want to restrict it to a certain category or a certain brand, yeah, that's all fine, but let us use our own brand or car. Track Force, yep. Be my guest if you want to mess around with that. That is more, to me, I connect these two. Demolition Rail and Track Force, I connect those two. It's like, it's for the kids, it's for have some fun, enjoy it, and of course some content creators or whatever will make some tracks and then make videos about that and share that and then come to the conclusion that that whole sharing system is not working properly. That was the same with with the previous game. It's always like, if you have to share, then it becomes a popularity test. Whoever is the most popular, those tracks will always be on top, although there might be some really cool tracks there which never see the daylight because they can't get it to share or to show up, not even for their friends. Anything with sharing never usually works very well. That's just a popularity contest. You're always going to see the same name in the top there, and that will only take a while before, it's sort of like a custom show, right? It will only take a while before some people figure out how to get their name or their track up top, and then their people will always be there. No. Grand Race, there was some brief mentioning of a point system change in the patch notes, I have been driving yesterday. The first race I won. The first race that I drove this season, I won. I got 61 points. So I don't immediately see a difference, especially seeing a few races later. We got pushed around a little bit. We finished in 13th. We got 34 points for that. 13th place, you win 34 points. It makes no sense at all. In some other race, you finish in 3rd and you get 5 points. Get rid of that shit. Make it simple, makes it easy, make it transparent, and showcase somewhere what the points board is. It is not rocket science. It doesn't matter if you're a bronze driver, a silver, or a platinum driver. You have to do that race. You're racing against 28 people. You have to win that race. That should be the same points. In any motorized sport, whether it's Formula 1 or WRC Rally or WEC Endurance Racing or IndyCar or whatever, you name it, there is a rule book, and in the rule book it says how the point system works for that sport. That should be exactly the same here. That should be something like the top 10, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the top 10. 11 to 18, 0 points, and then from 19 to 28, it would be the opposite of the top 10, but then in a negative way. If we finish in 19th, it should be -1, 20th is -2, and so on until the 28th place, which should be -15. The opposite from the first guy. Simple, easy, transparent. And then you can still let the system check if you have higher ranks above you. Yeah, then you give them a few points extra, or whatever, if you have beaten higher ranks. You can adjust it that way, but make it transparent. You know, it's like, it should be somewhere there, like, hey, this is how it works. The top 10 gets this amount of points, the bottom 10 loses this amount of points, the middle session you stay wherever you are. And then at the end of the race, when you finish the race, it's going to look like, okay, this guy has 4 higher ranks above him, okay, give him +4. So in that case, you win the race and you beat 4 higher ranks, then you would get 15, +4 is 19 points for the victory. It would make it simple. It's just mathematics then if you have a leaderboard, which will explain what is going on. Talking about the leaderboard, I think that is also still not changed. When you finish the race, you get a result board, you click on that, you cannot see people's rank. You see there's some big Ubisoft logo in front of their name, but get rid of that thing. We know how the Ubisoft logo look like by now, and replace that with people's rank so that we can see what every people their rank are. You can see it when you're in the race, but when you're finished, you check the result of the 28 names, you cannot see what the rank of that person is. It's weird if you have a rank racing system. Other than that, as far as I know, I don't think there's anything changed. Yeah, we're not in silver yet, so I don't know if we can still freeze our rank, but I'm assuming that's still the same, that's already takes away the competition already. If you have ranked and unranked people driving in one lobby, that's no competition in Ivory Tower. That needs to be 2 lobbies. That frozen bullshit needs to go. People should not be able to freeze their rank and then go ram people around a little bit. That should not be a thing. Other than that, reward-wise, also pretty poor. Silver, you get a racing suit. We get a customized wheel, rim, whatever for the gold. And if you reach platinum, another NASCAR racing suit. And the title for this season is The Speedway Ghost. Red title. The first season ranked racing, which was the last one, season 8. There it was Urban Legend, right? So that's something that you can put in above your name, and that at least that is something to drive for, because all the other titles, the greens and the grays and the blues and the purples and they're just throwing them at your head. It's like you finish a playlist, hey, here's the title, hoopla. That's not really earned, you just completed the events. So the unique titles are at least unique. You have to grind all these races, go through all these different ranks, and if you reach Legend, you get the red title. In this case, Urban Legend for Season 8. And this season we are playing for what I just said there. What was it? Speedway Ghost. So yeah, that's what we'll be going for. And then, yeah, these are the pictures for the new playlist. So you need to take one of these You can see it here. This is sort of the middle of the speedway. You can drive in the middle there, you can come down here, and then is there a very short tunnel. That's where you need to take this picture. And then here we need a NASCAR Cup car at high speed in front of the grandstand. So you just fly by here, then you go into photo mode, and then you rewind until you're in front of the thing. Play around a bit with the filters. Sometimes you have to, like in my case. It was night and it was raining when I was doing this, so obviously I had to play a bit with the filters to get a bit of a daytime vibe. And then the last one was just the pits on the island, on the speedway. So don't go to motorsports track or something. No, go to the new island speedway. In front of the pits, I think you just need a cup car in front of the pits. So those are the 3 pictures of the playlist. For those wondering. And then the collectibles are sort of two finish flag things, sort of crossing each other, so they're like a cross, those typical racing things, you know. And they are, I think there are 8 or something, if I'm not mistaken, and they can be found in and around this speedway all over the place. Just put it on in the menu, collectibles, and then you will see on your minimap these big yellow circles with a star in there. That's where the location is. Then you just have to go search that location and find them there. That is that's one of those playlist things that I'm talking about now. The challenges. Let's see, what is it? Flag collectibles they're called. Find all the flag collectibles. Oh, 6. There are 6 for this playlist. So yeah, they're in and around that stadium. And if you have it on in your menu in the settings, then you can easily find them by the big yellow circle on your minimap. Will tell you the location. You will see big circle with a star up and around that speedway. It was not that hard to find them. Sometimes they're a bit tricky and hidden here and there. Not this time. They were pretty much in the open all over the place. Usually a parking lot or in the center. I think there are 2 or 3 or 4 even in the center of the speedway. So just look around there, you will find them. They're pretty much in the open, every single one of them. That's about it, I think, for season 9. And then the next thing, of course, is the other playlist for the remote control cars, which will be behind the paywall. You will get it if you have year 3 pass, but then you're already paid, so that's also behind the paywall. If not, if you don't have year 3 pass, then you can buy that playlist separately, but only on May the 6th, whenever it comes in the store. I'm assuming it will be the same as the police playlist, which is also one of those from last year. From time to time they take one when they need money, I guess. They take one out and then you need to pay for that one, right? What was it, this one here? Police squad. I had the year 2 pass, so it was included, but if I did not have that one last year, then I also had to buy this. This thing is available on the website for $10, 10 euros. So I'm assuming that the new remote control cars will also be about $10 whenever it comes out on May the 6th. So then you can buy that playlist. If not, you cannot play with the remote control cars. As far as I know, there will be one in the summit as a summit reward, I believe. That's probably the only thing you can get your hands on. If not, you can't play with these things. They did not make that their own category, although they wanted to in the beginning, but they stepped away from that. So the remote control cars will be, I think, 3 tier 1, some of them, and the other ones will be in racing category. Which brings us to the next point. We have a new category, being the NASCAR Cup cars. Which also means we have a bit of a problem, because we need to get these parts again. The Cup cars are coming with the same level as the 3 tier 2, being 750, but you can't use 3 tier 2 vehicles parts. You need to get parts. What do? You do some events. E-Hummer, not an option. You cannot do E-Hummer because the Cup cars, the old vintage playlist, does not need to be done with Cup cars. And that also means that, or also the electricity, for instance, does not need to be done with that. So, and that also means that E-Hummer, you can't do with a Cup car. I tried it yesterday, it doesn't work. Then we had the Ferrari event, which I sometimes do. There's some Ferrari event on the motorsports racetrack. There is a Ferrari event from the Ferrari playlist. If you do that with a set like this, you were normally you would get 24 points. Apparently, that is also done something with it. I did it yesterday with this set, and I only got 12 parts from it instead of 24. So apparently that thing was a bug, because that's a thing where you drive 50%, you do one lap on the track, you drive 50%, then you switch to another vehicle and you drive the other 50%. That was sort of to go through history. Yeah? You drove an old Ferrari in the main mission. You drove an old Ferrari and then you switch to a more modern Ferrari. But in custom mode, that means that if you do those kind of events, you can select 2 times the same vehicle. So I did it. I selected this vehicle twice. Normally you get 24 parts then. This time I only got 12. So that's so something they did with that you cannot get 24 parts from that mission anymore. It took me quite a while to get this set together, I can tell you that. Because I am convinced more than once they've done this, that the live sniffer set is not working at the moment. So you drive around with a live sniffer set to find loot boxes, which is the other method to get parts. I was driving around for 6, 7, 8 minutes with a live sniffer set before I found a box. That's not normal. Those are the normal times, like if you would drive around with a car with no parts or with green parts or something. That's usually how long it takes to find a box. With a live sniffer set completely maxed out, you should be able to find it in 2-3 minutes at least. So the live sniffer, they done it, was it last season or the season before? They disabled that thing because there was a duplication glitch with the boxes. Some people were duplicating the boxes, so they were getting a bunch of parts. And instead of taking care of these people and their stupid bugs and glitch abusers, they decided to punish the whole community and disable the live sniffer, which means people could not find boxes anymore. Until they fixed that, and then they quietly put it back on. They didn't tell us that they put it up, they didn't tell us that they put it on, but you know, people with experience, they know what's going on. We have been driving around with live sniffers for a long time to know how that thing works. Normally within 2 hours you should have every single yellow set if the live sniffer is working. I've been driving around yesterday for 5-6 hours and my sets are still not complete. The live sniffer is not working in season 9, I can tell you that. So we got that one. Here, as I said, we're still looking. I still need a nitrochemist with pure and extra pump on the tires. Seeing we are taking so many pit stops with these things, it's probably also advisable to get a score breaker maybe. So we're also working on that. But it's definitely also advisable to get a pure iron grip, because you need to take... Pretty much what it comes down to is that these cars have fuel for 3 laps. You have events which are 9 laps or 12 laps, you need to do 2 or 3 pit stops. But you might be able to get rid of that a little bit if you drive with something like an iron grip set. 7 iron grips and then put some pure and extra pump next to it, a bit of a mix. So what I usually do in this situation is 5 pures, 2 extra pump and then 7 iron grips. That's sort of what I'm working on here. I need 1 more extra pump and I need 1 more pure, and then the set is complete. But yeah, it's very hard to find if the boxes are not appearing on a normal rate with a sniffer car. If you're completely new to the game and you don't know what I'm on about, I will show you. What also has changed is, for sake of us all, it finally, after 3 years, it finally works. It remembers your filters. You don't have to close this menu and the filter is gone. No, it has remembered it. Also, that is of course something, be aware of it. This filter, if I do not uncheck it, it will stay on for the rest of the night. And I will not be able to find any other vehicle than Cup Car, because that's what I selected now. You can reset the filters now with the reset button, but it remembers it as long as you're in a session. Once you reboot, it resets and then you have to put your filters back on. But if you reboot the game, I'm talking about. But if you play for 6 hours, I can do hypercar and rally raid. For 6 hours, if I check in my list of cars, I can only find hypercars and rally raid. Finally, after 3 years, it remembers our filters. You know, sometimes you switch parts or something and then you can't find your vehicles again. It finally remembers it. Anything else? Because this was supposed to be a short, quick video to summarize season 9. But yeah, I've been playing for 13 hours yesterday, so we encountered every single bit of it, including things which are not working, like the live sniffer parts. There are a few things which are, of course, very questionable. Like I said, they add a new discipline, being the cup car. We have no parts for it, and then the first thing they do is they let you use a cup car in a slalom where you need a yellow scorebreaker set, which we cannot get because the live boxes are not appearing often enough. Now, I had 2 yellow scorebreakers at the time when I did it, so that at least I got 153,000. So I'm only missing 4,000 or 5,000 points compared to somebody who has a full set. But yeah, it's grind, even in the summit to get this yellow scorebreaker going. Or at least half a set that you can get some more points, because otherwise... these are things then I think, like, if this is the depth, these are the summit guy and whoever is in charge of the parts and things like that, they're not coming together. Otherwise this would never happen. This might happen in week 2 or 3 of the season when people have the sets already. But now from day 1 on, they put in a slalom here where you need a yellow scorebreaker to get the points. Nobody has parts because it's a completely new discipline. We didn't have any parts before we started. So what I did was I just, as first I played the playlist. I did the 10 events in the playlist, and that gave me enough parts to at least max out the card already. It were green and blue and purple parts, but they were 750 parts. So that's already a good start. And then you can start searching for yellows. But I had to look quite a long time to get my Loot Digger sets complete. And that's what you want, of course. You want the Loot Digger set. Preferably that would be the first one that you want to be complete. Because the thing with that is that that with this set completely maxed out. So we have a Loot Digger set with Goldfinger 6% and Lucky 25.5, 7 times. So that's why you end up with 42% Goldfinger and 178.5 Lucky. And the Loot Digger will double the parts. So you open a box, you will get 10, 12, 14 parts from a loot box outside. Certain events will give you 9, 10, 11, 12 parts as well with a set like this. So yeah, that's what you do. You open the loot boxes out there, you do some of these events, you will get parts, and that's how you can get these things together. I probably still have a working car. Yeah, this is my what I call the working car. So this is a car where I have the rest of the parts sitting in ECU, in motor core, and in tires, because I still need 2 tires, Nitrochemist, and I need a motor core scorebreaker, and I need a ECU Nitrochemist for the other sets to be complete. So I keep these things, I keep these kind of parts, and then we are using the merge system. 3 purples into a yellow, or 3 yellows into another yellow, and trying to find them that way. So it's a combination of finding the parts themselves if you're lucky. If I can find the motor core scorebreaker, yeah, then I don't have to merge one with parts. And that's what that's why I use my so-called working car. That's where I have the rest of my parts. I deleted everything else. I don't need brakes, I don't need gearbox, I don't need exhaust or suspension. So you just keep some purples and yellows on these, the ones you are still looking parts for. So that's something we are doing at the moment. Trying to get these yellow sets together for this cup car. At the moment I am looking for a Loot Digger, which we already have. Nitrochemist Pure Extra Pump, Nitrochemist Pure Iron Grip. That's this one, that's what we're working on. And then here a scorebreaker with Skilled. More than likely, if time evolves, we probably get a Pure Frenetic for speed traps potentially. In case the devs force us to use a cup car on a speed trap in a summit, then we also need a Pure Frenetic on this one. So yeah, we'll see. We might come up with some other things. I don't think you need a trawler set. We're not going to go off-roading with these vehicles. There might be another 1 or 2 other sets that we can come up with. Might be, in this case, not bad idea to do shifty and intake and outtake and draft bump. Some combination of that might not be a bad idea. Seeing slipstream is kind thing. Which brings us to the next thing. there is a new annoying feature which was annoying the hell out of me and some of my viewers as we were going in the stream yesterday. We couldn't figure it out. It took us a while to find it, but we have found it. The devs decided to annoy us some more with some more noises, being the slipstream. And not only did they annoy us with it, they also put it at 100%. That thing is, as soon as you drive behind the car, that could be. At first I thought, oh yeah, you know, this is a playlist thing from that NASCAR thing. No, it's not. It's not. You go to Grand Race, it's exactly the same. This annoying whistling wind sound, sort of the whole time you get. Oh my god, it was annoying. It's here. They decided to put a new slider in here and give the slipstream some sound, some whistling sound. It's like somebody blowing slowly on a whistle or something. That's sort of like, that's what you hear. So that tells you that you're either that you're in slipstream or that there is a guy behind you in your slipstream. That's what it's supposed to tell you, I guess, but it's a very annoying sound. And next to that, you will see some white stripes next to your car as well when you're in slipstream. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a visual of the airflow. I'm assuming that's what's supposed to be. I don't know what they're doing. They're making it more and more into a kindergarten and visual effects and neons and in this case sounds which are annoying the hell out of everybody. But I guess some people will use it so that they know that there are people are slipstream. I mean, you can see that if you're in front, you're behind somebody, you're in slipstream of somebody. Yeah, you can see it when you're behind it. You can feel it on your car. You will suddenly go 20 miles an hour faster because it's still overpowered as hell. Also in Grand Race, they have not done anything about that. Although we have been asking for it for 3 years now. I wonder when they're gonna do something about that shit. But I think it's we're slightly, you know, they come up with a rank system and it's sort of, they threw it in Grand Race and it's like, hey, here you go. You wanted a rank system? Bam, here it is. They throw it in just to please the crowd. That's what they did, because it's not worked out properly. The point system is broken. You get 60 points if you win in bronze, but if you win in platinum, you only get 2 points. It makes no sense. It's the same race. You're racing against 28 people. You should have the same points. Whether you're bronze, silver, doesn't matter. You know, if you go into Formula 1, you have a 7 times world championship winning a race, or you have a rookie which just comes out of Formula 2 and he's driving the first year, and whether one of these two wins a race, they get the full amount of points. But here in the crew, it's like, oh no, bronze driver, you get way more points than a platinum driver. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's when you do not understand competition. That's some thought process being like, but yeah, if you're platinum, then you're a better driver. But why do you get less points then? You still have to beat those 28 people. You still have to do the effort. Whether you're in bronze or in silver, you still need to try to beat these. Point system should always be the same. Stick to it. So yeah, and then on that next to that, you have people playing for ranked, and others do not play for ranked. They freeze their rank. They're messing around. They're ramming around. They put them all in the same lobby. Yeah, that would be somebody, you know. That's like they would put you or me in a Formula 1 car on the grid next week when the season starts against all these pro drivers. And you bouncing around a bit and killing a few of these pro drivers on the process and taking them out and spinning them out, and that's what's happening here in Grand Race. Some people who don't have settings, who play once a month, they're in that lobby with people who are sweating and grinding and for the final corner and the perfect gutter corner and all in one lobby, because Hybrid Tower thinks that's a good idea. So yeah, all in all, it's only the beginning of the season, but we grinded long, so I can do some sort of overview video already. That's what this is for the whole season. It's not very interesting, let's put it that way. The playlist is boring as hell. The next playlist probably will not be much better, and it is behind the paywall on top of it. Here the liveries are also behind the paywall if you want all the liveries from the NASCAR. $17 for 12 liveries. It's a bit exaggerated. But hey, you get the undergrowing car with it, which is the same as a stock car, by the way. But it is considered a car. Every single livery separately is considered another car, because in the calculations of the vehicles, they now say that that there are 824 cars or something. So it's counting every single of these. Number 5, number 9, number 23 is counting them all separate cars. It's not just a livery pack that you can put on the stock car that you buy in the shop. Eh? No, it is like every single one of these vehicles is separate car. Yeah, you can get to 1,000 cars that way. If you come to the nitty-bitty selection of the cars, we have now 824 according to the menu, but there are not 824 cars. There are a bunch of cars which are a normal car, and then they wrap a livery around it, and then they call it a Summit Edition. Or in this case, they wrap some NASCAR liveries in it, and they say like, hey, here are 12 new cars. No, they're not. They're one car with 12 liveries. So yeah, that's how you get to 1,000 cars. But if you go look a little bit closer, it's the same with the Bugatti Divo. There's only one Bugatti Divo, right? Well, not in this game. In this game there are 7, but it's the same car. Just with a different name. Because it's a summit vehicle or a motorpath vehicle or a main stage vehicle or whatever. Something similar is happening here. You get a stock Toyota and then 4 with a livery. That makes it 5 Toyotas. That's how the game decides. Or the dev decides like, hey, we have 5 new Toyotas. Yeah, not really. It's one new vehicle and it has 5 different liveries. A stock one and then 4 specific ones. And the same goes for the Fords. There are 4 Fords and 7 Chevys, I think. Yeah, there is a stock Chevy, then you have the one from the Rivals board, and then there are 5 in the pack as well. So that's 7 Chevy, and there are 3 in the Ford pack, plus 1 stock, so that's 4. And then 5 Toyotas. Total of 17 cars, including the one, the Proto one, which is not Chevy, Ford, or Toyota. This Proto brand is, yeah, also very strange that they bring the Proto brand back, now that I think of it. Proto was the brand from the depths in the Crew 2. But in this game, what was the, in this game they used the Ivory Tower brand. But now they bring this cup karting and they bring it under the Proto brand, which was the dev brand from the Crew 2. You would think that there would be an Ivory Tower one this time, but no, I don't know. Didn't realize that until now, that they're actually bringing back a Proto. Yeah. Let's have a look on that. Now that I think of it. You see what I mean? We still have the cup car selected, so the filter was still there. We went out of the menu, we went to the map, we came back. The filter that I selected was still there. Finally, after 3 years, they did something that we've been asking for. Because people want, when they select something, they want that to keep there until they unselect it or something. You can always press the reset button that resets all the filters. I don't know if that was there before, but that's also something they added then in case it wasn't. Yeah, we have the Ivory Tower brand. This is basically the dev brand for this game. Everything that they brought in this game was under the Ivory Tower brand. Strange. And then you had the Proto brand. Let me check. I don't know. So yeah. I guess it's a cup car version of the Hot Rod, and that's why they put it under the Proto brand. Because they have, from all these Protos here, they have not brought anything. Huh? They have not brought anything which was not in the Crew 2, huh? Because they brought this thing to Motorfest with a Motorfest livery, but this was just a helicopter from the Crew 2 that they brought over, the Proto A500. And the same goes for this thing, right? This was some exclusive livery thing or something. About 1,000 people in the game have one. If you could apply for it on a website if you lived in Belgium, France, or Switzerland. So That's how you get this thing. That's also another proto brand that came in this game. Which this is not in the Crew 2. This is only in this game, but those are. It's a normal proto Mark 10, which comes from the Crew 2. So everything from the Crew 2 is proto brand when it comes from when the devs created it themselves. Let's say everything they put in this game is under the Ivory Tower brand. But now they came up with this cup car and they brought the proto brand in a way. Why doesn't this call the Ivory Tower Handsome Custom? No idea. I guess it's the chassis is based on the proto underneath, under the hot rod race car or something, and then they made a cup car from it. That's why they call it proto. I don't know. Some of these questions I didn't think about. Why are they bringing back the proto brand while everything else in the game is Ivory Tower? For this game, right? The proto was from the Crew 2 and Ivory Tower was from this game, so. And other than that, yeah, you have this thing, but as I said, 13 hours I streamed yesterday, I didn't even watch it. You can build some authentic motorsport kit races. You can build Unleashed Motorsport, so these are, let's say, normal tracks. And then you have the coaster tracks, which are, yeah, roller coasters, loops, magnetized roads. That's why they're called coaster tracks, probably. So it reminds you of a roller coaster. But as far as I know, you cannot combine these. So either you make a normal, let's say, relatively normal track. Here you can just make a track where they give you a straight and a corner, and that's it. Here you can, you're building more in the air, where you can go over another track and things. So it's a bit more, you have a bit more freedom. And then here, yeah, you have all the freedom there is with these crazy loops and things. Yeah, this is more kindergarten. This is more Hot Wheels kindergarten. That's whatever. This is more, yeah, it's tracks with jumps, and so this is just plain tracks with certain specific corners. So in theory, you could, I think somebody already did it. You could remake the Monaco Grand Prix track or something like that. There is some of the corners are in there, specific corners. Yeah, what is called corkscrew. What track is that again in the USA? That's also in there that you can build. So maybe they also have Eau Rouge from Spa-Francorchamps. Maybe you can rebuild Spa-Francorchamps. I might have a look on that maybe. And then here, yeah, you have the track of the week, which then apparently they put in the summit next week. That seems to be a thing. Well, as you can see, the track of the week is a summit contest. So that seems to be a thing here. They're gonna bring in that track force thing in summit by bringing in the track of the week. Then here we have some dragsters, some racing. So you have the vehicle categories that you can select and then see what is going on. I'm assuming that these tracks are created by the devs. And then if you go to the top trends, then here we have the sharing business. You know, 800 likes, 3000 likes. This one has 3000 likes, this one has 1200 likes, this one, and so on, right? You can see it coming, right? This one has 7000 likes. This is Ubisoft Ivory Tower. Though. This is created by the devs, but there were some were with names. Like here, Iron Logan 30. That's a player. That's not a dev. So yeah, this is popularity contest again. Whoever is popular, whoever shares their, can get their tracks shared across to the most people. Then those will probably be in the top. And then we have the new race tracks, which is probably the top 10 of the latest tracks which have been uploaded. But if you check in 5 minutes, that top 10 will be completely different. Those are like the latest ones, right? But yeah, you can see it here, and then you can take a picture of that to put on your billboard. So yeah, this guy is just going around in a circle. And then of course it will only be coaster kit continue. So yeah, you have some sort of preset names that you can put on there that people have an idea what they're doing. Like this guy is Alpha Grand Prix doing a loop, and then probably doing 20 laps to get some massive money or XP. Yeah, this is what's gonna end up. This is going to be an XP or money glitch at some point in time, till somebody finds one of these glitches on one of these super tracks, and then the devs will come forward and say like, yeah, no, but it's beta. You know, that's why they put beta on it. Something, in case something goes completely wrong with this thing, then they can say like, yeah, but we're still working on it because it's in beta. That already, for me, you can also bring up your friends tracks and the guest tracks and what guest. I'm assuming that's one of those friends that you can pull in, like somebody doesn't own the game, but you can still bring him in. He can play with you, that kind of thing. Is that even working? I have no idea. Never tried it. And then here, based on your gameplay, so here the game is gonna sort of try to figure out what you're doing a lot. Yeah, like here, you see, this is the Monaco corner. This one over here. And here's some guy playing around with drift. He has made a drift track. So yeah, that might be interesting, that people are making some decent drift tracks or something. That of course you have all freedom to do so, because you're building these tracks more or less in the air in a way. So there could be some good things coming from it, like proper drift tracks and so, which are obviously not on the map anywhere, created by the devs. So you might find some people who actually create proper drift tracks. And then it's based, yeah, all kind of filters again. The best tracks of all time. So yeah, you know, like this one, 3,600 likes, 3,800 times played this track. So this is a community track, and that's the number one. Yeah, this is where it's going. Huh? That's what I'm saying. The popularity tester. These are the Don Juan songs from Forza, right? Didn't make one livery, but hey, synchronizes liveries from 3 games ago, and legendary painter in no time because popularity. You know, popularity. That's what this is. And then here, yeah, you have apparently you can check the best tracks for every different discipline: rally, hypercar. Yep, that seems to be what that is. And here we have the top creator tracks. What does that mean? Does that mean this is the Black Panthers and so of this world? Yep. OZFF and Black Panther and Militia Gaming. Yeah. Those are the people that were invited in that workshop. They have created their own track and then they put them here in a separate category. Yep. And then here we have some filters. You know, easy tracks, hard tracks, short tracks, or long tracks. And then you can go in there and some more filters. Be my guest if you want to play around with that. I am going to stay out of that thing as long as I can. Until we're really bored, then we might have a look at this to see what it's all about. But some people are very creative and have fun spending hours in that thing to make one good track. Then it might come somewhere here or there in the summit, and then we will see it. What we will be doing for the next few hours and days is right here, going from bronze 1 at the moment, which way we are. Yeah, we did the whole playlist yesterday, and then the grinding for the yellow parts before we actually started Grand Racing. So I only did, like, from the 13 hours that I was streaming yesterday, I only played Grand Race 1 hour, I think. That will be different this weekend. Somehow or another, we will see. So we'll start here in bronze, and then whenever we do Grand Race, I might cut it into episodes for an hour for YouTube, or I will just export the whole stream to YouTube. Then you can watch the Grand Race grind there. We're going from bronze to legend again, with the keyboard, at least attempting to. We want to get that red title. Last season it took me 5 days, from Wednesday till Sunday, and then we had legend. We'll see. Might be a bit longer, might be a bit quicker, who knows. Probably a bit longer, since they have messed a bit with the point system, but at first in bronze I can't see any difference. We're still getting a ridiculous amount of points for a bronze victory. 61, and then a few races later I got 69 for a victory, so yeah, ridiculous. If you have Platinum 1 or Platinum 2, you get 1 or 2 points for a victory. That point system needs to be revised immediately. There's like one small line in the patch notes which says that they've done something with it, but I don't know what, because to me it looks exactly the same. It's unbalanced. 60 points in bronze and 2 points in platinum for a victory, that makes no sense. That should be 15 all across. Whether you're bronze, silver or gold, that doesn't matter. Or 25 or whatever amount they said on it. I take 15 as an example here now, but just a fixed points for a victory, fixed points for second place, fixed points and so on. For the top 10 or whatever, and then you can leave the middle section be, and then the bottom 10 they lose points. Should always be losing points. That unranked frozen business, get it out of there. If you want unranked, then you bring up a separate lobby. One with ranked racers and one with unranked racers. And then you don't need that freeze thing. You're playing a competition, you should not freeze your rank. If you don't want to play a competition, fine, then you go to the other lobby and you play the unranked. It's simple, huh? It's simple and logic and competition logic. But yeah, competition logic is not something they have down there at Lyon. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at this as well for the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in Grand Race or any of that business, we will be up and around for the next couple of hours, and also over the weekend more than likely as well. I will see you guys on Twitch then. If not, we will export a few of these things to the video to YouTube for the next days as well. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.